Man, it is freaking cold out here. Cold out here in the south today. So, I'm not really, one of those people that ever considered my drug use, or my alcohol drinking, something of a problem. I always just figured that I did drugs and drank a lot, because I wanted to, and it was because I wanted to. I never really considered it a problem, though. I never felt like I was really like physically dependent or dependent anyway on drugs. And in fact, there's only been one. I've been through like a bunch of different addictions as far as drugs. I've been through like alcohol, benzos, a little bit of opioid addiction, crack, maybe a little cocaine addiction, but the hardest addiction I went through was the one I went through these past few years, up until a few months ago, which was my crack addiction. And at first, when I started trying crack a long time ago, but a few years ago I got on it really bad, and I really liked it. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed the way crack made me feel. And when I first got on it, I knew I was just like a fiend. You know what I mean? I was out there in the hood, literally trading Subway sandwiches for like a nickel rock or a dime rock, whatever I could get. So in other words, instead of eating my food, I'd go out there and trade it for crack. I was actually surprised that it worked. You can get a crack rock for 12-inch foot long. all the trim is turkey, onions, all that shit. The more on there, the fatter the rock's gonna be, I guess. But yeah, I was literally out there trading sandwiches and trading food for crack, and I didn't really mind it. I've never really been one to be embarrassed about what I was doing or my addictions or the way I was living. I've never really been embarrassed about it. I've always been very vocal about what I choose to do and how I choose to live, and so being on crack, it wasn't a big deal to me. Maybe to other people, and I think that's the weird thing about it is for me, because of my personality type, the fact that I'm just not really ashamed of anything at all, and the things I've done in my life, they don't really bother me at all the way they seem to bother other people. Other people were looking at me like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, he's fucked up, like he's gone, you know what I mean? The whole time I'm out there just having fun, you know, just like living it up. And even though I knew I was addicted, even though I knew I was on a crack binge for several years, I just didn't look down on myself for it. And even though I was homeless, mostly because I was on drugs and because I couldn't save my money because of drugs, yeah, I mean, I just never really looked down on myself for it. I was always pretty much just okay with it. Other people seem to be really perplexed by it. I think people would look at me and they'd see me in really bad shape, but you know, I was still happy. I was still enjoying life, and I did. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what I've been through over the years, I've never really seen the things I've gone through, the things I've put myself through or experienced. I've never really seen it as all that bad. You know what I mean? I've never really seen it as something that I should be overly concerned about, whether it's addiction or jail or homelessness or poverty or all of them combined. You know what I mean? I just never really looked at it as anything I should be overly concerned about. I just kind of saw it more as a challenge than anything else. You know what I mean? And there's a part of me, after all these years and everything I've been through, there's a part of me that has always known that no matter what I've suffered or what I've allowed myself to suffer or whatever I've put myself through, there's always a side of me that deep inside I always knew I was going to make it through. No matter how hard it got, no matter how difficult it got, there was a side of me that wasn't really that worried about what I was experiencing and what I was going through, because I knew I could take it. I knew I had the heart to get through it, and I knew that even though I was an addict, all these past 4 or 5 years, I've been on crack. Now I haven't been on crack in several months, and I'm pretty happy about that. The thought crosses my mind a lot still. I still do think about it. I still think about drugs a lot, actually. But I've gone through the negative. I've gone through the negative repercussions of the drug world and of the drug life so much and for so long that I'm just kind of over it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's some fun to come along with it, and yeah, you know, it's kind of exciting, and getting high feels good or whatever, but it also comes with a tough lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle I could handle, and I'm sure if I went back out there now, I could probably still handle it. But I just don't really want to anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to be out there like that anymore. I'm getting old, man. You know what I mean? I'm 41 years old now, and it's just not something I really foresee myself doing anymore. Even though I probably could, I just don't really feel like doing it anymore. So that being said, since I've been out of jail since, what is it now? January, so November 12th was my court date. So November 12th, December 12th. So about a month and a half or something like that I've been out of jail. I haven't used anything since I've been out. I've only drank a couple times, and it's not to say that I'll never use again. I'm not the kind of person that goes off on like this 12-step AA sobriety bullshit. I'm not counting my days of sobriety. I'm not doing the AA preamble, even though I have been involved in AA before. I just don't do that shit. I don't look at my life as in I'm trying to get sober, because it's not sobriety I'm after. What I'm after is satisfaction. What I'm after is peace. Excuse me, got something on my tongue. What I'm after is peace and satisfaction and just being fulfilled. And you know, for all those years that I was out there using, all those years that I was homeless, that was satisfying to me. It was fulfilling for me. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of it, except for the rough parts. And this last year, 2024, that's about as tough as it got. 2024, this last year, it pretty much was the year that ended my my desire to want to be out there running around those streets, you know, getting high, doing what I was doing. Not because I feel like the drugs were such a problem. I mean, I knew I could probably quit drugs if I wanted to. It was just the amount of energy that goes into all that. The amount of energy goes into surviving homelessness and surviving addiction, and especially the run-ins with the law. I got arrested like 6 or 7 times last year. I went to jail like 4 or 5 times last year, all just for like 2 weeks at a time, maybe a month here and there. But last year I just got fed up, man. And by the time November rolled around and I was in jail like the 3rd or 4th month in a row, I was just like, man, fuck this, dude. I was like, it's just not worth doing this anymore. You know what I mean? The constant harassment by the police, the constant, you got to worry about people out there, man. A lot of those drug addicts and a lot of those people who are using, a lot of those people on the streets, they're a bunch of shitbags, man. And they'll snitch on you and rat you out in 2 seconds, dude, just to save their own skin. So they'll rob from you, they'll steal from you. When I went to jail, when I lost my house back in October 30th, my lease was up, and I was in jail for the last 2 weeks of my house lease. And they ransacked my house, man. The girl I had watching it, I don't know what she did or who she had over there, but they ransacked my house, man. Dude, they stole everything from me. They even stole my hair clippers, my toothbrush, my fucking toothpaste. And these are all people that I probably knew. I don't know who was over there, but probably people I knew, probably people I hung out with at some point. But they ransacked my house, and I was just like, man, these people are dirtbags. And it didn't really bother me that much that I was back out on the street, because I went from jail. I got out of jail. And then I spent the whole night I got out of jail taking all my stuff from inside, what was left over in my house, from inside my house to the end of the driveway. And at 5 o'clock that morning, I walked away from my house and just walked down the street, and I was homeless again. And I was homeless for the next 2 or 3 months. And during that 2 or 3 months, I got arrested like 3 times for trespassing and trespassing, failure to appear, shit like that. Just minimal shit. And I just kept doing like 2 weeks. I was doing like 16 days and 16 days and 16 days, and they let me out each time. But by the time I got to this last court date on November 12th, this past November 12th, I was just done, man. I was like, the people aren't worth it anymore. I was like, I've tried to help a lot of these people, and they just shit on me for it. When I had my house, I was letting people in. I was letting them stay, giving them a place to crash, letting them get showered up, hanging out, bullshitting. Just give them a chance to a place to have a break. I kind of opened up my house to a lot of people that were on the street to allow them to have a break, and they all just shit on me. You know what I mean? They all just turned their back on me. And finally, when I got out of jail and I noticed that everybody ransacked my fucking house, I was like, man, fuck this. I was like, fuck these people, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to be around people like this. Because I was on the streets homeless for a long time before I got that house. And even when I had my house, I was still using drugs. But I've never been a shitbag. When I was using drugs, I wasn't stealing from people to get what I needed. If anything, I would panhandle or go do some side jobs real quick to make $20 to get crack rock or some meth or something that I wanted, beer or cigarettes or something. But I was never a shitbag while I was on the streets. I was never an asshole that went out trying to destroy other people's property and destroy other people's lives just to get what I needed. Yeah, man, so I've been out since like November 12th. Like I said, I was locked up a bunch of times this last year, and that was really where I drew the straw. I just, again, I could do it again if I needed to or if I wanted to. I'm sure I could go back out there. I'm sure I could handle it, but I just don't even want to anymore. I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy, and I don't have the will or the drive to want to be out there, and especially be around a lot of those people that's out there. And I don't judge them. I don't judge them for what they did to my house. I don't judge them for who they are or the choices they're making. A lot of those people out there are hurt, and they're going through a lot. A lot of them have been through a lot of trauma in their lives, especially early in childhood. And so I don't blame them for their drug use. I don't blame them for the way they act. I know people are just people, and I try not to expect too much from people, especially people that are using and out there on the streets, because most of them have just been through a really hard life. So I don't judge them for that. However, just because you've been through a hard life and been out on the streets or homeless or you're on drugs, it does not make you, or does not necessarily mean that you have to be an asshole or that you have to rob and steal and take property that's not yours and just be an asshole and a thief. You know what I mean? You can be out there homeless and still be on drugs and still be a decent person. You know what I mean? And I was, so I'm proof of that. But yeah, so I've been out a month and a half. Almost 2 months, something like that, and I do still have a desire to get high. I do think about drugs still. Every day I think about them, actually, and I do want to get high still. But more so, I like having a house to live in. More so, I like having that money in my bank account still being there when I wake up in the morning. More so, I like being able to buy myself clothes and food. I bought myself a new rosary necklace. So at this point in my life, I like having money, and I like having a roof over my head, and I like having my peace and my solitude more than I want to get high, and more than I want to be out there on the street. And so that's really where I'm at today. Yeah, I do want to get high still. I do sometimes think about going back, but more than wanting to get high, and more than anything, I just want to live in peace. I just want to be alive and just be happy. You know what I mean? So I'm choosing not to partake in those things anymore. I don't know if I will be like that forever. Who knows? Maybe I'll go back to it. Maybe I won't. I don't hope one way or another. I just kind of let things fall into place and be what they are. I'm not searching for sobriety. I wasn't looking for sobriety when I got out of jail. It's just kind of turned out that way because my desire to live peacefully and live fiscally or financially stable is greater now than my desire to be on drugs and using. So just want to put that out there. So if there's anybody out there who's struggling, man, just keep pushing and don't give up. Keep pushing, and when you're ready, you'll be done. I know that for a fact because I'm done, at least for the moment. Hopefully I'm done for foreseeable future. Hopefully I don't go back to that, but I don't know. I don't like to promise myself anything because I don't want to let myself down. So if you're struggling, if you're going through it, just keep pushing, and you'll know when that time is done. You'll know when you're fed up. You'll know when you've had enough, because you just won't do it anymore. You'll just stop and you won't even think about it. So love y'all. Have a good day.